Right now, you probably have a number in your bank account. Maybe it has 4 digits, maybe 5, maybe more. You can picture it. You know roughly what it would buy. But there is a number so large it breaks that picture completely. 1 trillion, $100 billion. That is the wealth of the world's richest man. And your brain, the same brain that evolved to count berries and track a handful of family members, cannot actually hold that number. Not really. So what does it look like? Let's find out. Start small. Imagine a single dollar bill. You know what that feels like. You can buy a coffee almost. Now imagine a stack of 1 million of those bills. That stack would be about 350 feet tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty. Now keep stacking. $1 billion would be a stack over 50 miles high. That's higher than the edge of space. $1 trillion would be a stack reaching from the surface of the Earth almost to the moon. And Musk's wealth is more than that. More than 1 trillion, by over $100 billion. Researchers who study perception, like psychologist George Miller back in the 1950s, found that the human mind can only hold about 7 distinct items in working memory at once. Numbers beyond a certain size stop feeling like quantities. They start feeling like categories. A lot and an unimaginable amount register the same way in your head, even though one is 1,000 times bigger than the other. This is sometimes called scope insensitivity, a term used by researchers studying how people respond to large-scale problems, like the number of lives affected by a disaster. Whether the number is 1 million or 100 million, people often feel the same emotional weight. The brain just isn't built to scale its response to match the scale of the number. So let's try a different approach. Time. If you started spending $1,000 every single second, day and night, never stopping, how long would it take to spend $1,100,000,000,000? Over 34 years. Not 34 days. 34 years. Spending faster than almost anyone could even physically transact, around the clock, for over 3 decades. Now think about how long it took to build that wealth in the first place. Let's try land instead. If Musk converted his entire net worth into $1 bills and laid them flat, edge to edge, covering the ground, the area covered would be larger than the entire country of Belgium. An entire nation, carpeted in cash. Or try weight. $1 trillion in dollar bills would weigh over 1 million tons. That's heavier than 3 Empire State Buildings combined. Here's another way economists sometimes frame extreme wealth. If you compare it to the median household income in the United States, which sits somewhere around $70,000 a year, Musk's wealth is roughly equivalent to the combined lifetime earnings of over 500,000 average American households. 500,000 families, working their entire lives, just to match one person's balance sheet on a given afternoon. Why does this matter? Anthropologist David Graeber, known for his work on the history of debt and economic systems, pointed out that for most of human history, there was a hard ceiling on how wealthy any individual could become. You could only own as much land as you could farm, as many cattle as you could herd, as much grain as you could store before it rotted. Wealth was bounded by physical reality. That ceiling started to dissolve with the invention of paper currency, then stocks, then digital assets. Wealth stopped being a pile of things you could see and touch. It became a number on a screen, tied to the value other people believe a company will be worth in the future. Most of Musk's wealth isn't sitting in a vault. It's not cash, it's shares. Mostly in one company, a car manufacturer whose stock price moves based on expectations, sentiment, and speculation about the future. Which means that number, 1,100,000,000,000, isn't fixed. It moves every single day. It can rise by tens of billions in an afternoon. It can fall by just as much. Economist Thomas Piketty, who studies wealth inequality across centuries, has shown that when wealth grows faster than the overall economy, it tends to concentrate. The people who already have capital see it grow on its own, compounding, while income from labor grows much more slowly. This isn't new, but the scale of it is. 200 years ago, the richest people on Earth were measured in millions. A century ago, in tens of millions. Now the conversation has shifted to trillions, 1,000 times larger than millionaire status, within a handful of generations. Think back to that stack of bills reaching toward the moon. Now think about your own number, the one in your account, the one your brain can actually picture. Somewhere between those two numbers is almost everyone you have ever met. The richest person you personally know and the poorest person you personally know probably sit closer together on this scale than either of them sits to the top. Your brain evolved in small groups, where the wealthiest person in the tribe might have a few more spears, a slightly larger hut, one extra goat. The gap was visible, understandable, human-sized. Today, the gap between the wealthiest person on the planet and someone living paycheck to paycheck isn't human-sized anymore. It's not even close to human-sized. It would take that stack of bills, reaching toward the moon, just to begin to show it. So tonight, when you check your own bank account, when you see that familiar number with its 4 or 5 digits, take a moment. That number is something your brain can hold. The other number, the one belonging to the richest man alive, is something your brain was never built to hold at all.